All right, that one's done. This one's done. That one's done. That one's not done. I actually think this one is not leaking. I've done repairs there, repairs in the back like usual, but I think we're solid there. Definitely not good there. Yeah, that's a problem. Seat is kind of a problem. Other handle gone. Front handle, rear handle, well, rear handle gone. So I think handles is about it. I had repaired this scupper hole many years ago, but I don't think this leaks. I don't think this kayak has a leak at all. Oh, I took off that wind on rope stopper there and put that on the solo skiff, so I need to just do a quick weld and patch that up. What's the deal with this seat? Why is that not? Oh, the rope broke off. That's why. It's supposed to be a rope there that holds it. Okay. Gotta do something about that. Alright, let's do a quick handle job and figure out something to do with this seat. And with the power of Amazon, we've got 4 new handles. We're on about 15 bucks and some hardware. So let's install those guys and yeah, get this guy out for a test drive maybe. Oh, the seat. Gotta do something with the seat. All right, we got all 4 working handles now, so that's a very important part done for loading and unloading. Let's see what else we got to do besides the seat. All clean. That works good. I'm gonna take that off. That's not doing anything. Rod holders. That was for a downrigger setup I had on this one. These are the light switches I had for power for my live well. But what are we gonna do about this seat? Well, I got the seat resurrected. Basically this strap that goes from this side to that side was broken right here, so I loosened up and gave as much slack as I could on both sides, and then I was able to tie a knot. So now it's still there. This bungee was overly stretched, but I just looped it around and back on itself, so that'll hold it there. And that's solid. Yeah, not bad. Now I'm going to take these miscellaneous screws out. I don't need this hummingbird mount. I think this was my navigation light holder, so I'll take those out. The bolts are just too corroded on these, so they'll stay until I do something with the kayak, but these Scotty mounts are still good. Could probably use this plate on something. Alright, I cleaned that up a little bit. Yeah, I really can't do much about these until I use a grinder and cut these off, but I'm not even sure why these corroded like that. They should be stainless. These I'll probably leave because I'll need at least one rod holder up front for a rod to stand up in front of me, because even in this kayak I do stand up paddle to fish. But yeah, got a bunch of stainless steel screws I could use. My DIY anchor trolley's still working good. Man, this boy's ready to fish just like that. Little stories about this guy. I actually bought this kayak for 400 bucks. It was new, but the guy was a diver out of Santa Cruz, California, and they did a lot of rough launches. So when I got it, it actually had a hole in the back here, and first time I put it in the water, it almost sank. And I got it out and I looked, and there's a big old hole right there. I mean, visibly see a hole. And I was like, holy crap, I got scammed. Then I was panicking, and then did a lot of research, and that's when I learned about plastic welding, and that's where my plastic welding started. I was able to fix it, and then after that I never worried about having to fix one of these guys. And then this one, this was the other sudden repair here. It got a crack in this the hole here, because that leads straight down to the water, because these are solid airtight holes. But I was fishing out of Geiger Key, and I was real super quiet, and I could hear it sounded like a river, just gushing water, just shooting through like pressure. I couldn't figure it out because it would only do it when I was standing. I could hear it, and then as soon as I sat down, I guess the pressure came off of the floor here, so it would seal and would stop leaking. And then it took me a while to finally figure out where's all this water coming from, and then narrowed it down, and there was a crack. And then I went ahead and repaired it, and surprisingly the patch held, and it was watertight, and it never cracked and leaked again. So even though it looks rough, it held. Then this kayak was also where I initially started with the initial kind of, not gravity feed, but paddle feed of priming the live well pump. I ended up getting one of those dog food containers, and then in the bottom of it I ran a PVC tube down through the hole through here, and I created a cup at the end of it, so I would just have to do about 2 or 3 paddle strokes going forward. It would force enough water up the tube and into the live well pump to self-prime it. So that's how I learned about doing that for the solo skiff and the my offshore kayak live well systems. Oh, and this was, I put in a car adapter, and that was for powering the live well in the back, because I had a battery pack that attached to the dog food canister live well. And then the switch was right here, just a toggle switch. All right, so this boy is ready to run, so let's go take it out. Haven't taken it out for a while, so I think it deserves it. And I have that little Scotty rod holder rocket launcher that I used to make my external transducer on the solo skiff, which I no longer need. So bam, I've got my rod holder for when I'm stand-up paddling. Just stick it there, and I could paddle and grab it as soon as I see a fish. Boy, this baby's coming together. With that boat, the winds are about 10 plus knots, so this is that area. So it'll be kind of wind sheltered by this deer key, so that's kind of why I'm targeting it. Generally, I would rather be on this side of US 1, but I don't know, there's just not, I've been to all of these areas here. I have not been right in this area, so that's kind of why. So that's the plan. All right, we got the old Tarpon 140 on the car. See, there's a repair work there. Bit disheveled underneath there, but otherwise it's looking quite fishable. Yeah, I got it on backwards because I had it stored this way, and I just lifted it, threw it on there. Nice having a light, easily managed kayak. Going super light, 1 pole, 1 paddle, 1 bucket of stuff. Got my anchor, it's a necessity, pliers, scissors. I got 2 bucktail jigs. I got a bag of pilchards, leftover pilchards I had, and then my dry box. See, there's my bait of choice for just quick prospecting. Bucktail jig, can't beat that. And yeah, so we're ready to go. So here's the plan. All right, so the plan is, here's the marathon. I'm right around there. No, right around there. And we're gonna go to Coco Plum Beach, past Coco Plum Beach, and we're gonna go to the end of Coco Plum Drive to this dead end spot right here. It's all rocky, so it's kind of a little bit hard access here. You can park over here and come through here, but it's real soft, mushy, silty, seaweedy, and then a launch there. I would go out of Coco Plum. They've got nice parking and a real close access, but they close at sunset, and just in case. Plus, the area that I want to actually hit is this Deer Key and the Curry Hammock State Park area. So launching there, I go around the edge. This is the boaters channel. Look out for boats. And once I get in here, I am kind of going to play with these areas and just spend a little bit of quality time and just get some time on the water. All All right, making a ride on Coco Plum Drive. Here's Coco Plum Beach, where I don't think I'm going to launch from, but I could. Nice parking lot close to the water. Ooh, looking a little bit choppy out there. The reason why I don't launch out of that Coco Plum is that they, well, at least they used to lock the gates to the parking area. So if you weren't there right at their closing time, your car's locked in. So this other spot, we'll have to see. I'm kind of concerned of how rocky it is out there. Although we're not going far, but my tolerance for hassles is very minimal right now. I can always go across the street to the actual public boat launch and just launch from there. So we'll see. And here's our access point. It's not horrible, and the water's up, so launching will be easier. I can just drag it through the rocks here, or even through there. Usually we'll go around that little beach area. I think this might be our access here. I'm going to drag it. No reason to use wheels. Just launch from here. Ooh, treasures. Shoreline scavenging. Yeah, let's do it. I'm just going to do a quickie. I just want to test the kayak out. All right, quick and easy launch. Oh. Good to be light. Normally I would launch where right off the rocks there, but I don't want to mess up those guys fishing. So we're just dragging and dropping. Just like that. Piece of cake. All right, here's a full tour of my paddle setup for basic fishing. Got the kayak, got my paddle, a bottle of water, life jacket, anchor. Got my pump, since I'm testing out my plastic weld since I haven't been on the water for a while. Dry box, has my phone and wallet and stuff in it. Scissors, pliers, a second bucktail jig, and some pilchards. So that's all we need. So let's go out, get around where they're fishing, and then get out of the wind, hopefully. Oh, one thing I'm learning, it's not as silty as I thought. I thought this was all just, for some reason, I thought it was just super silty. But I haven't been out here in like years. So maybe it changed. But yeah, heck, I could bring my other kayak out here. All right, let's get paddling. Oh. Get arranged here. Don't lose the life jacket. Don't flip over. I'm gonna lose this jacket. There we go. All right, and we're paddling. Now, for a lot of people, they're gonna say, "Ooh, look at that cool house." For me, I see that corner right there with that sandy beach. I bet you that is a bait hot spot where the pilchards kind of get pushed into that corner, and then there'll be juvenile tarpon all over it and jacks running through it. But we're gonna go on the other side and hit that island there. Maybe on the way back we'll let the wind push us around that corner and take a look inside. I see these Pelican guys hanging out. They're here for a reason, more than just, ooh, cool house or cool rocks. Although they're enjoying it. I didn't bring the cast net, I was debating it, but since I have the frozen pilchards, I figured, why get too complicated right now? All right, now we just gotta time this just right, because this is a freeway entry point that goes into the harbor. So we want to get out of this as soon as possible because these boys will run through here fast. That's the main national park or park. I did some videos about fishing over there. I caught redfish and tarpon and snappers and everything right out of there, just launching from the park. I had a annual park access. I think the first year that I moved to the marathon, but I really haven't gone back since. But I haven't come this far down. Good afternoon. Yeah, water's still churned up from this last week. Has been blowing 20s up to 30 knots and rain, and it's been pretty brutal. We have a little dip in the weather, that's why I'm out today. Probably get out tomorrow. And the tide is really high. I can see bottom though. So we're just gonna scout out some areas and then oh, there goes the sun. And I can drop in all these little holes here. That's why I brought the pilchards and the bucktail, just for pitching jigs into the little areas there. If it was low tide, it'd be a little bit better, then that way fish aren't so far back in. But right now, with the water being so high, everything is all the way through there. Well, while it's calm, let's do a are we sinking check. Well, I got a little bit of water in there, but that's, I think, is a lot of it is just rainwater. I should have washed it out before I went out here so I could really see, but that's the situation so far. All right, so this is our working area. Got the inlet that we just came in. That's the main channel that goes to the residential area there. There's a dead end cut here, and then another one that goes farther in. It's either that one or over there. And then this cut through this island to another island. So I think I'm definitely not going to do the house channel there, although maybe on my motorized stuff I'd go, then I could hit the docks. This is the few areas that the docks are pretty good, but along these channels here, especially like in these points where it's real calm right there, I bet you there's something right in that hole there. And then I think either this one or that next one there is the one I'm going to head up, just to kind of get out of the wind and get out of everything. The problem is those dead end spots tend to really not hold anything because there's not a thoroughfare of water. So when you don't have pushing current that goes through it, there's really no food being carried. So probably just some tarpon. But I want to look at this because there's probably a good cut right there. It looks a bit darker. Yeah, you can see it, how it's basically the flats, weedy, and then boom, you got this ledge drop off right through here, and then you got the heavy undercut. And especially at this point right here with the current and the wind blowing stuff in, everything would be out in this front area. Oh, look at all the bait. That's just all tiny glass minnows. But yeah, that's what I thought. That's, even though it's just little bait fish, they're in the spot that the other fish would be. Interesting, more bait. Another excellent spot would be that point, and then going back to the first quarter of it. Like I said, even though it's deep over here, everything gets eaten in the first section, so there's no reason for fish to be laying back up here in the back half of it. So that's always go to the lead-in points. Okay, good to see. This smells like very juvenile tarpon-y. But let's go take a look around there and see what our next destination is. All right, here's the parallel channel to the residential channel. I think it dead ends not too far in here, so we'll go check it out just for the sake of it, just so I could tick it off. You can see the prop scars this whole area back in here, I'd say 90% of the time boats, regular boats, can't come back in here. That's why it's so perfect for kayaks. But definitely at low tide, where everything would get pushed out into these deeper channels, it'd be a lot easier to find stuff. I need to stand up. I can't see anything. I haven't done this in a while. Ugh. Standing up. Without the outriggers. A little bit less stable. Just got to get my sea legs. Oh. You guys got dead things in there? I'm gonna be surprised to see some juvie tarpon in here. Kind of what I'm looking for with all this little bait around. So much better visibility when you stand. It's so important. Can't emphasize it enough. When you're sitting down in a kayak, it's virtually, you're basically just soaking bait, and that's really all you can do, and just kind of hope to get lucky. This is a cut through to the channel. These are always good. Channel's right there. It's kind of like a tarpon highways. All right, looks like this is the dead end I was wanting to see. Oh, what bait is those? What are those? Oh, pilchards. Pilchards. What are you guys doing way back in here? These, oh, yep, all these are pilchards. Dang it, I found them. I was actually expecting mullet, but there's pilchards. So that means there's probably some tarpon around here, especially in these dead end zones like that. Like that. I was also hoping to find mullet. If I found mullet, then I'd find redfish and snook. But yeah, this is all pilchards. Oh, back in here too. Drop the anchor. Long as the nose. Ooh, look at all those big old pilchards. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, my thing broke. That's not good. I need to replace all this line. My clip-on section broke off. Oh, look at all those pilchards. Those are big boy pilchards too. Wow, that's weird to find these pilchards this far in, but this is where they be hiding. Golly, these are big old chunkers. There's got to be stuff sitting down below waiting. I guess I could chum a bit. See if I could get something to come out. But I bet you they go all the way in there. Alright, let's throw a few chunks out and see if that will bring anything. Dang, look at all of them. Look at all of them. Pilchard cities. These are the big old sandy key pilchards. These are the kind of the ones I like to take offshore. They die easily. You gotta have good water flow. Huh, they chased out of here. Alright, moving on. Pilchards. Good to see ya. Keep an eye out, see if we spook anything out. Oh, there's the snappers. That's the other thing I was going to say is to look for schools of snappers, even small ones. If you see the groups of them, then there's going to be a bunch of them around. And where the smaller ones are, most likely you'll find the bigger ones. Yeah, those were the first snappers I saw, but you can see how far it goes way in there. I can hear tarpon in there gulping and popping. They're way deep in there where those back pilchards were. And all these pilchards are here. But man, look at all of them. I just don't have time to work the area right. Can always come back. Alright, so that is the other channel, and then it basically keeps going until it runs into US 1. You can see the power poles. There's 3 power poles. That's basically right US 1, so that just dead ends in there. I definitely don't want to go there. That might be interesting, but otherwise I'm going to spend the rest of my time just on this island here, on this side of the wind. But let me take a look at that real quick, and then I'm going to head over to that island. Alright, it's just a little tarpon tunnel, sandy area here. That's kind of what caught my eye. But yeah, nothing really worthwhile to go invest in. It pretty much just dies right there. That looks pretty shallow and silty. I'm sure it probably, yeah, it kind of goes through there. So I'm sure it's one of the highways for the tarpon to cut through to get to that channel that I was at, and then right after that is the main boaters channel, which is always going to be deep water, where these things here will dry up in shallow times. All right, now we can go hit that island. Oh, you can kind of see how far back that channel that goes to US 1 is. But not interested in going there. It would be interesting if they had a pipe going through underneath US 1, so you can get Gulf of Mexico water connecting to the Atlantic side, and the water flushing through. That would be a massive hot spot. Even if it was just a pipe, that current pushing through there back and forth, there'd be just fish. Wham! But alas, there's not. The other thing I was looking for was mullet mud, and there's nothing. So that pretty much kills my redfish opportunity that I was thinking about. If you find those mud spots, then you basically with the bucktail just cast into the edges of the mullet mud, and that's where everything is feeding on those mullets, and then the sharks and kudas are tearing them up, and then the other fish like the snook and redfish and mangroves and mackerels and all ladyfish will be eating the pieces of the stuff that gets torn up. All right, made it about out front. Just wanted to take a look at what's out here. A lot of riprap torn up from Hurricane Irma. That's all Duck Key way out there, not too far of a paddle. I don't know if I should, maybe I'll just go straight across and then I'll come around the back side, because I'm gonna have to come this way anyways. Yeah, and I'll just see if there's any treasures. All right, we made it to the other point, the opposite point. That's pretty dang far. If I knew it was this far, I wouldn't have made the run along the open water side, but oh wells. Now it's easy sailing. Well, what do you know? Look what I see. I did find my treasure. I was casting in there and my lure got stuck in a tree, but I wasn't the only one. Oh, come here. Come to me. You are mine. Oh no. Oh, come back. Ah, dang it. And I was just about to mention this too. I was going to say that the second bait option that I would utilize would have been a top water lure. So Spook Junior here, heading Spook Junior. It's like a 10-buck lure. I'll take that and I'll use that if I find it necessary. If I find the mullet mud or if I find the tarpon rolling, switch to that baby. I actually should be throwing that top water across the entry point there, just working this section here. But I think that's what I'll do once I get to that rocky outcropping where that residential channel is. I'll switch over to that spook and I'll work that wall and that corner area that I said was the bait area in front of that big house. That's perfect. I don't see much in the way of dips. Oh, there's pilchards. That's good to see. Oh, there we go. Oh, tarpon. Oh no. Tarpon. Oh, popped it off. Dang it. Yeah, when you see those pilchard, those tarpon are going to be around. Yeah, look at all the pilchards. Can't be. Oh, oh, those must be all the snappers. Oh, there we go. Now we found the snappers. So the bucktail is good, but it's better when you tip it with some food. Pilchard is definitely not very good for this, but the one I caught the tarpon on, I'd just put a piece of the tail, but you just put a little chunk like that, and that gives a little bit of flavor to the bucktail action. There it goes. Nah, little guy. But that'll get them fired up. This will let me see what size they are. Nothing big. Little dudes. Little dudes. Got a couple of inches of growing to do, buddy. Tarpon, tarpon, where are you? Here's more pilchards. All hiding in this pocket area here. Figured there'd be something in this corner here. A little bit of a tarpon tunnel that goes to the Atlantic cut through. That's kind of why I went through the front side to see if there was a pretty significant channel that cut through the island, but there wasn't. But those will do for the fish. But other than that, it's all pretty much just dead water. There's not much going on. There's probably the tarpon will swim the edges around the island just making loops, but to find out where they're hanging out would have been the front corner there where I caught that one. I don't think there's gonna be too many or too much of anything in these middle zones. Or just dead flat. All right, there was some tarpon there. Let's loop back around. Yeah, we're coming towards the end there. I saw them hanging out underneath the vines there. Let's see if we can sneak up on them. Where are you at? Where are you at? See, I just got lucky that they're on the outside edge because they can go like 20 or 30 feet in. Probably farther than I could even cast. But Let's see if they were in here for a reason. I didn't see any bait nearby. They were just right inside there. They skedaddled this way. That's why I'm thinking that these are just some of the one. Oh, there's a little bit of bait here. There's a mangrove. These little just juveniles, they don't have anything else to do, so they can just follow the edge and just do circles around the island. Then once they go deep inside there, there's nothing I could do about it. Alright. Well, that one snapper was there. If I could get him eating, those vibrations might bring more around. Yeah, I threw out some chunks. And that tarpon came around there. As soon as I dropped those in there, he was there. So they're hanging around here for some reason. He just heard that little kerplop, and then he came jetting over. Here they come. Oh, my bait's in the water. Oh, that spooked them. Messing with the anchor. I don't know if they were coming towards the scent or if they were just moseying around. I was just setting up my anchor. Better. All right, we made our full loop around Deer Key here. This is a nice channel right here. You're kind of safe from the main boaters channel because they'll strictly use there. They really shouldn't come through here, but that's a real deep cut along there. I'd anchor up over there, put out a chum block, pull everything that's down this whole wall up to where you are, and use some of those live pilchards or shrimp or cut bait and do some whacking. But that'll be for a different day. So let's go to the cut on the other side, and I'll throw on the top water if I don't get run over. All right, looks all clear. Let's make a run for it across the freeway. Don't run me down. All right, we cleared the freeway, so let's switch over to this top water. Ugh. The buck's tail by itself would still work pretty good. Actually, it would be, it's kind of a toss-up which is going to work better. The water's kind of dirty is the only real issue, but we'll throw top water. All right, we got our top water there, so let's do some dog walking. Mainly just want to hit that corner section. I don't want to CUDA to take this thing right away. Yeah, it's pretty shallow. Kind of just want to see if there's bait stacked up in here or not. I don't see any birds, so maybe not at the moment. Don't see any bait. And got weeds. All right. Not going to be able to see much with this Atlantic side winds, but we got the launch right there, so we did good enough. So here's the rock wall. If you ever decide to launch off the rocks, the corner here is a little bit more manageable, but if you got two people, it's no big deal. Pack light. just take your stuff off, unpack all your stuff, and just have the kayak, and it's pretty light. Then you could just like walk up right here, right through there. But my car's over there, so we'll just take the little trail. All right, there you go, all loaded up, ready to go. The old Tarpon 140, working good. All right, we're out of here. All right, we're back. The Tarpon 140s did great, no problems with it at all, so very happy with it. Actually, the plan was just to get it runnable and then give it away, but I actually think I'm going to hold on to it a little bit longer. There's a couple more spots that I want to hit around Marathon. What I did today is perfect for the paddle kayak. Just little inshore close spots, away from any boat ramp or launch, where I'd launch like the bigger kayak and then the solo skiff, where I could basically drop and be right in the middle of the area there and get around, do a lot of prospecting, fish, catch stuff if I want to. So that's why it's still pretty valuable. So there's still a couple of areas that I want to hit, so we'll shelve the giving it away for the short term. But yeah, so that's the Tarpon 140, happy with it. And that kind of wraps up all my vessels. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.